Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're really jumping into the deep end. We're tackling a topic that's well, it's crucial if you're looking to build, lead, and really make your mark in a fast-moving industry. We're unpacking this idea of direct selling mastery, trying to figure out the principles you need, to become a top performer, build organizations, achieve real success. Our map for this comes from excerpts of Prem Kumar's talk, Direct Selling Mastery, A Path to Freedom. It kicked off season 14 for his group, and it really sets the stage, doesn't it? Like a blueprint for how to conquer this field. So, our mission today, let's pull out the key insights from Kumar's talk. The mindset stuff, the practical steps, even this bigger purpose he talks about. We want you to get what really drives success here so you can maybe apply some of it yourself. Because look, this isn't just about selling, it's about a whole transformation starting from inside. Okay, so let's get into it. Prem Kumar really hammers home this idea that success starts with clarity, like real clarity. That's the very first question he says we absolutely need to ask ourselves.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? He immediately points the finger back at you. He asks, why have you chosen this industry? What do you expect from it? His point is, until you can answer that for yourself, like truly answer it, how can you possibly convince anyone else?
That hits home, doesn't it? If you're kind of fuzzy on your own, why? Well, how effective can you really be? Especially in something like direct selling that's built on communication, on trust. People feel that uncertainty, I think.
Absolutely, they do. And then he lays out this interesting path for interactions, whether it's online or face-to-face. He says it starts as just a conversation, but then you have to turn it into communication, then into a commercial relationship, and the final goal, a lifelong commitment.
Whoa. Okay. Conversation, communication, commercial relationships, lifelong commitment. Let's break that down a bit, especially for folks in the field. How do you move from just a conversation, maybe someone's just asking a quick question online, to actual communication? What's the key step there?
Right, and this is where, a lot of people might stumble. A conversation can be really surface level, just facts, figures, hi, how are you? Communication, in Kumar's view, I think, goes much deeper. It means you're really listening, asking good questions to find out what they really need or want, not just what they're saying. It's about building that connection, understanding their why. It's moving past just talking at them.
So it's less about just dumping information and more about truly connecting and understanding.
Okay.
And then how do you build that commercial relationship from there so it's not just a one-off sale?
Well, that comes when they start to see you not just as someone selling something, but as someone who actually provides value, who can help them solve a problem. It's built on the trust you establish during that communication phase. You've shown you understand them and you have a solution that fits. And that lifelong commitment, that's about building community, ongoing support, making them feel part of something bigger than just the product, turning customers into fans, basically.
It really sounds like a model for any strong relationship, actually, personal or business. And that point he makes about doors opening once you can answer people's questions, that feels important, like mastering your own belief. But, for someone new, could that come across as maybe too confident, like steamrolling objections instead of listening? How do you balance that?
That's a great point, yeah. The mastery he's talking about isn't about having a slick answer for everything or arguing people down. It's more about having such a deep, solid belief in your own why and in the value you offer that you can address concerns calmly, with empathy. You're not defensive because you're secure in what you're doing. You listen, really listen, and then you respond from that place of conviction. The door opens when they feel heard, not just when you've given your pitch.
Okay, that makes sense. Confidence born from clarity, not just bravado. So we've got the clarity piece down. Now the big question, how do you actually do the work? Kumar talks about two sides of selling in this business. What are they?
Yes, he draws a really clear line here. First, there's selling the products. For that, you obviously need good product knowledge, features, benefits, how it helps people. But then there's selling the business opportunity. And that, he says, requires something deeper, real conviction, real belief in the whole thing. And the key takeaway, both rely heavily on your confidence and that clarity we just talked about.
That's such a key difference, isn't it? Selling a product is often tangible. You can point to features, show results maybe, but selling the opportunity, that's selling a dream, a possibility. It requires you to project belief in the system, the support, the potential future.
Exactly. It's a different conversation entirely. You're not just talking about, say, ingredients in a shake. You're talking about potentially changing someone's life path, which leads right into this point Kumar makes about the application gap. We live in this age where information is everywhere, right? YouTube, websites, social media, endless tips and training. So everyone has access to the knowledge. What's missing? Why isn't everyone succeeding? What pitfalls are common?
Yeah, that's a tough one. We all consume so much. I know I save things to read later and later, sometimes never comes, let alone actually doing the thing.
Right. And Kumar is pretty blunt about it. He basically says, knowledge without application is garbage. Now, he doesn't mean the knowledge itself is bad. He means it's useless, it's wasted potential if you don't act on it strategically. Like, you might know rejection happens, but are you actually learning from each no and tweaking your approach? That's application. You might know the compensation plan, but are you actively building your team in a way that maximizes it? That's application.
So it's not just having the info, it's knowing how and when to use it effectively, which explains why he says smartness and preparation are more important than just hard work.
Precisely. Hard work might be making 100 calls with a bad script. Smart work is making fewer calls to the right people with a message that connects. Smartness here is about strategy, analysis. Preparation is doing the homework, anticipating challenges, having that deep conviction ready. It's intelligent effort.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Are you just collecting information, hoarding tips? Or are you actively trying things out, applying what you learn? That shift could change everything. Okay, beyond the practical how-to, what about the long game? The mindset needed to stick with it. Kumar lists a lot of the appealing things about direct selling, right? The potential benefits.
Oh, absolutely. He mentions residual income, tax advantages, being your own boss, setting your own hours, the dream of financial freedom. It sounds great. But he immediately says you won't get any of that unless you fundamentally change your mindset and your expectations. These aren't automatic perks. They require a different way of thinking and working.
That's so important because people hear residual income and think passive, maybe, or no boss sounds like total freedom. But residual income comes from consistent effort over time, building a team, right? And no boss means you have to be your own boss, which requires immense self-discipline. How do we adopt that mindset?
Exactly. He's pushing us to see these aren't just features of the industry. They're outcomes of a transformed approach. Residual income needs leadership, mentorship, sustained effort. Freedom from a boss demands intense self-management and accountability. He challenges us to look past the shiny surface and commit to the internal work needed.
And he has that line, everything begins twice. First in the mind, then in reality. That speaks directly to this, doesn't it? You have to really see yourself succeeding with realistic expectations before you can make it happen or even convince others.
Precisely. And he connects this to growth itself. He says growth is life, even mentioning that famous growth is life tagline from Reliance. His message is pretty stark. If you stop growing in this industry, you're not just failing yourself, you're actually damaging the industry's image. It's a call for everyone to strive upwards. And he extends that, be the best in whatever you do. Restaurant owner, teacher, engineer, aim for the top. He says he entered direct selling with that exact mindset. I'm going to reach the top.
Wow, that's a challenge for all of us. What does being the best mean in your context, and what are you actually doing to get there? Food for thought. But that drive, that ambition, how do you cultivate that, especially if you're starting out and maybe feeling a bit lost? He shares a story about his mentor that seems really key here.
He does. It's a powerful moment of humility. He talks about bowing to his mentor and asking just one thing, guide me to become the best in this company. And critically, he says he followed the instructions completely. No arguing, no second guessing, just complete trust and follow through. It really underlines how crucial humility is for learning, even when you're trying to be ambitious.
Humility and ambition. Sometimes they seem like opposites, but here they're linked. You mentioned ego getting in the way. How does that actually show up for people in this field? It might not always be obvious arrogance, right?
Oh, definitely not. Ego can be subtle. It might be thinking you know better than the proven system, or being too proud to ask your upline for help when you're struggling. It could even be skipping training because you think, I already know this stuff. Kumar's direct. Without humility, you cannot learn. Ego blocks knowledge. And that choice he offers, ego in your pocket or success in your pocket, not both. Oof. And think about his own story being shy initially. That's also a kind of ego, isn't it? Wording what others think. He had to shed that to step up.
That's a really insightful way to put it. Overcoming the fear of judgment is a form of overcoming ego. So for Kumar, what happened when he chose humility, followed his mentor? What were the results?
Well, the transformation was profound. He went from being hesitant to even identify as a direct seller to, proudly putting it on his WhatsApp status. He built himself up brick by brick, learning from the mentor, attending trainings, reading, and most importantly, practicing consistently. He went from student to master.
And the tangible rewards followed that mastery.
They did. He talks about real-time freedom, not having to punch a clock, being in control of his day. That's huge. And financial freedom alongside it, being able to afford the things he wanted, the lifestyle, the travel. These were the direct results of that dedicated, humble pursuit.
He's also very practical about money's role in all this.
Yeah, quite blunt, really. Money may not be everything, but it solves 99% of problems. He acknowledges its power to reduce stress and create options. And crucially, he links the two freedoms. Achieve financial freedom, and time freedom naturally follows. They're intertwined.
It really makes you consider, how could embracing a bit more humility unlock growth for you, especially in a field that often emphasizes outward confidence? Worth thinking about. Okay, so you trace the path for the individual clarity, action, mindset, humility, freedom. But does Kumar see a bigger picture? Is direct selling just about personal gain, or is there more to it?
This is where his message really expands, I think. He shares his company's vision, creating 1,000 millionaires. And he stresses they look at potential where you want to go, not your past. But importantly, he pairs this ambition with a strong ethical call. Remove wrong practices, scams, traps, false promises. He wants to elevate the whole industry.
And then he takes it even further, doesn't he? Into something almost spiritual.
He does. It's quite remarkable. He urges people to treat the work with deep respect, even spiritually, as a way of helping others. He frames it as tapping into a universal value, saying, helping others is the highest value in any religion.
So he's basically reframing the entire enterprise. It's not just business anymore.
Exactly. He concludes, this is not just business, it is prayer, it is service. That shifts everything. It moves it from just making sales to making a difference, contributing to others' well-being. In direct selling, that could mean really investing in your team's growth, genuinely helping customers, building a positive community. Selling becomes service.
Wow, thinking about your own work, whatever it is, through that lens of service, how could that change your approach, your impact? Could be profound. So let's quickly recap this deep dive. Prem Kumar lays out this comprehensive path. Start with crystal clear personal clarity or why. Then move to applied knowledge, don't just learn, do. Cultivate a growth mindset, always be striving. Practice humility, ego blocks learning. And ultimately, reframe your work as service contributing to others.
And his final advice is very direct, very actionable. Attend every session, learn with discipline and apply it. Follow your mentors, stay humble, and aim for the top. It's a clear roadmap, he leaves no doubt. If you truly commit to this path, that financial and time freedom, he assures you will definitely achieve it through this industry. It's a promise tied to disciplined action and the right mindset.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, building on that idea of business as service. Where in your life, maybe in your work or even a personal project, could you redefine what you're doing, shift it from maybe just a task or a goal to something aligned with a higher purpose of serving others? And what impact might that shift have, not just for you, but for everyone you connect with through that endeavor? Something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.